Well, we are learning more about a cyber attack impacting hospitals in the United Kingdom. It appears to be part of a massive hack impacting 74 countries. The New York Times is reporting the group responsible may have used hacking tools leaked from the NSA. We know that patients have been turned away from hospitals as a result of this attack. Politico cybersecurity reporter Eric Geller joins us now by phone. Eric, what can you tell us about this attack?
Well, I can say that it points to one of the concerns that people have had about the recent NSA and even CIA leaks that we've been hearing about. Every time there's a new release of files, people start wondering, how can these be exploited by people, cyber criminals around the world? How can they be used to target critical infrastructure like hospitals, power companies, that kind of thing? And we're now seeing, I think, one of the first examples of that, at least on a large scale, which is using this flaw in the code of Windows to spread this ransomware, which is a system that encrypts your files and makes you pay a ransom before you can get them back. The ransomware part itself does not rely on this code. You can get infected if you click a link and sort of download a file, but it can spread across the network if your computer doesn't have this patch that Microsoft issued a couple months ago. And so if you don't do that, you can have a situation where this cascades across an entire company.
Eric, what else do we know about the malware that was used in this attack? Is there any way that people, if you're hearing this, can protect themselves?
I think that the only thing you can do as an individual is make sure that if you're using Windows and Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, whatever it is, make sure it's updated, because if you were to click a link and get this ransomware in your computer and it's not patched, that lets this spread across your home network, your business, whatever it is. So I should say that fixing that patch, that doesn't prevent you from getting the ransomware yourself. It just makes sure that if you get it, it can't spread across your network. As far as the ransomware, just don't click any suspicious links. Don't download any attachments you don't recognize.
And who else do we know has been hit besides the UK hospitals?
It's spread across Europe. In Spain, they had one of their cybersecurity agencies issue kind of a report explaining how to prevent it from spreading and where they're seeing it. A number of telecom companies in Spain were affected. We've also heard that FedEx has been affected, at least in the UK and possibly in the US, but it's unclear if it has reached to the US and how far it's gotten.
And do we know who's behind it or where the investigation stands?
Yeah, that's the really interesting part. Because the file that people are using here was leaked publicly, it's very hard to establish that kind of information at this early stage. What you have is security companies going through the malware once they get samples of it and trying to find that information. But at this point, we don't know where it came from.
And is there a sense that there's a weakness in the cybersecurity world, that something needs to be done, especially because you're talking about hospitals where it's life or death for some people?
Absolutely. We're already hearing some hospitals had to start turning away patients with certain conditions because I guess the information needed to bring up diagnostic data or their cases, that they couldn't bring that information up because those systems were down. And so, yeah, this can really have effect on people's lives.
Eric Geller, thank you.
Thank you.